you'll always be. You will be first in my life. 'Cause you go.
Welcome back to the Wanda's Warrior Show. We hope you enjoyed that song. And it's called First, and it's by Terrell, a.k.a. T-Rex, with special guest Shalik. And we also have a special guest in the studio, and her name is Pastor Trish Warren. And I will let her introduce herself and what church she pastors.
Amen. Good afternoon. Well, still good morning to everyone. I'd like to thank Wanda for having me on her show today. My name is Pastor Letitia Warren. They call me Pastor Tish. I am the pastor of Be Glorified Ministries, which is located in Waldorf, Maryland. We are a small church, but we do large things. Amen. If God be for you, who can be against you? And so we are a church. We've been a church for 10 years.
Wow.
And so we thank God. My husband, Elder Mark Warren, is by my side, so we're in ministry together. He's the minister of music as well as the assistant to the pastor. So we thank God for him, and we thank God for all of the Be Glorified ministry members, especially my children. So they've
had to share you.
Oh my goodness, they've had to share me.
Yeah.
And they are wonderful leaders in the church. And if anybody knows anything about starting church, they know it's a lot of work, and so they have a lot of work to do. So I thank God for them. I also thank God for our leadership. We are under the Mount Calvary Churches, Holy Churches of America. Bishop Alfred Owens and International First Lady, Co-Pastor Susie Owens. So shout out to them.
Awesome.
Absolutely. One of the things that Amen.
Yeah.
One of the things that we're excited about, sometimes when you start a small church, you don't have much resources. So we sublease from other churches for about 8 years or 8 years, and we would go in after their services and have afternoon services 1:30, which in the summertime was okay, but then when football season came, that was not good.
People was like, you're cutting into my football time.
And then so in 2018 we went to start having services in the basement, which God set us up for 2019 when we moved into October. We moved into our very first lease space.
Praise God for that.
Thank
God
God
be the glory for that.
And so this year, a year later, God allowed us to acquire the space next door. So we just had our grand opening last Friday of what we call our Life Center. So we're excited about that. Yes.
God is about expanding His kingdom.
Yes, He is. So if you're ever in the Waldorf area, please look us up. We are a community church. One of our vision, of course, is to bring forth the gospel message and to disciple Christian people. But our mission, we have said, is for the unchurched. The D-church, those who were in church and who have said, okay, I left church for this reason, I got hurt. The D-church and the youth population.
Oh, yeah, especially in the Waldorf, the Charles County area, that's a huge population there.
Yes. So I'm excited about the relationship that is new with Akiva. I can't even remember how we met.
I was going to ask you, how did y'all meet?
We met through some friends that we shared, and I just want to piggyback on what he said about Tyler Perry and T.D. Jakes in terms of them needing each other at the right time. And so he has come into our lives needing us a place to host his plays, and we have agreed for him to host his plays at our Life Center, our new Life Center. But we also need him. And so when we talk about the church coming outside of the walls, that play is outside of the walls, and people are looking for church in a different way. They may not come in. One of the things that we have learned in Be Glorified Ministries, we try to look at what did we do good.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we found in this 10 years is that our worship service are not overflowing with people, but when we do extra activities and events, that's when the people come out. We draw, and so we're believing God that these plays are going to draw the people. We have to do something different to share Christ with them, and so yes, that's who we are.
Yeah,
That's
amen,
awesome.
Amen.
Like, I met Akiva. I went to see his play Deep Cover because some of my closest friends were in the play.
Yes.
And that's how I met Akiva,
Yes.
from the play, from that. So, we were waiting for someone to call in. He hasn't called in
I
yet.
think he was calling in a couple times.
That was a woman number that showed up on
Could
the
be his, could be his number. Yeah.
But
Emmanuel, if you're watching, call
in. We're waiting for you to call in. So we're going to have someone call in. But Akiva, one of your upcoming projects is this right here.
Oh, yeah.
Your worship leaders. Can you tell us about your worship leaders up close and personal?
Yeah, Sunday worship leaders. So, as a playwright, I want to go now coming out of my element. And during those times writing plays, I noticed how the enemy, I would say Satan, attacks my mind, attacks my body. You know how when you prepare for sermons and things like that, you know that the attacks come.
Yep.
So I was thinking, as a playwright, how the worship leaders go through every Sunday. So this praise and worship leader web series, I want to give them a platform to tell their story, the basically see behind the scene how they live their life preparing for Sunday. So that's what that is. It's going to be an up close personal conversation with me as a playwright, going into their lives and talking to them and giving that platform.
Amen. I love that. We were having some technical difficulties with the studio, so we have a caller that's calling in right now. Thank you for calling into the Wanda's Warrior Show. What is your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Emmanuel Ware. I am calling from Woodbridge, Virginia.
Good morning, Emmanuel. How are you?
I'm well.
This is Emmanuel. For everyone that's watching, it is so good to finally hear your voice. We communicate through inbox on Facebook, so it's a pleasure to finally hear your voice.
Yes, ma'am. I'm honored to be on your show. I am a huge fan.
Thank you. So, can you tell us what have you done and what is upcoming for you, and why you're calling in today?
Yes, ma'am. I came in contact with Akiva last year. Crazy story. He knew who I was, and I knew who he was, but we hadn't met.
Wow.
This is definitely like a direct indication of God's divine order. And so he came to a play that was in at my church, Redeeming Life Ministries International, and still we hadn't met each other. So it's like, okay, we know each other exists in the world, but we've never met. And I was in a point of my life where it was in that stagnant moment where the stress was there, the depression was there, the mental health was there. It's like, okay, what am I doing on earth? What is my purpose? What is my calling? Nothing is moving right. And I realized that those are the very moments where God shows his strength in your life. And as soon as I called out to God, like, hey, I need a signal, I need a sign, come rescue me.
Wow.
Days later, Akiva sent me a friend request on Facebook.
Wow.
Like, wow, how does he know my name? How does he know me? And I'm like, immediately, God, if this is you, if this is your doing, because as your son, I called out to you, and you answered me, order my steps, that whatever needs to be done in your will, let it be done. And I accepted the request, and then it was just there. And I'm like, okay, what goes down? And I said, you know what? I'm going to bless the man of God. Because, you know, I've watched Akiva. I'm a follower of his. I love his passion for the community and what he does with theater and stage plays. And I did exactly that. I gave him honor. I gave him reverence. And he came back to me and said, you know what? I feel the same thing about you. Not only that, I have a role for you.
Wow. Look at God.
What he was talking about with you in the session this morning was he would ask God to bring those people to him. And the role he had for me, he was like, I couldn't find anybody. People would fall out. Things would happen in their lives. And I'm like, God, bring that person to me. And so he brought our paths together. I had an amazing time in that I'll Be Home for Christmas play. But the next question, what messed me up a lot is the what next. Like when the I'll Be Home for Christmas play was done, it's like, okay, what's the next step? What's the next move? It's like life comes back and we're back in reality. And I told Akiva, like, hey, don't let me go. Like, don't let me go. My hand, whatever you need. And he's like, I got you.
Like Jacob. Jacob, don't let me go.
That I got you factor in this generation is like, yeah, you say it, but you're like big time. You're going to move on from me. You're going to forget about me. And he didn't. He came and he brought me to your place, Miss Wanda. He said, hey, I want you to follow a woman named Wanda Briscoe. I want you to study her. I want you to learn her. I want you to learn her past, learn her history. And he didn't say anything about a production or anything. He just said, I want you to know her. I want you to know who she is. Tell me everything you can about her. And I did exactly that. I studied it. I watched you. I learned you. I watched everything about your past, everything about your family. And I'm like, wow. So what is this? Why did you have me do that?
Yes.
He said, I'm writing a play specifically for her. And I want you to give honor to her son who was killed. And I want you to portray him in this play. I said, wow.
Wow. Yeah.
And he told me that, and I'm like, okay, is this for real? And a couple of months ago, he sent me a picture of your son and me.
They look
and
alike.
he put that picture
they look
together.
so much alike.
It scared me.
And he said, I want you to look at this and tell me what you see. And I literally could not respond because of how identical we are.
Yes.
And he came back and said, this is God's appointment. This is the reason why I have you here. So I am excited about working with you, working with Akiva again. But specifically to you, I want you to know that I will honor you and I will honor your son. And so now that every step that I take in my life, it will now be a reflection that I'm now living for two. I'm no longer living for Emmanuel, but I'm also living for little D.
Wow.
Thank
I will
you.
honor him, that he will be known in this community. We will put awareness out to this community, not only to stop the gun violence, but let's put God first in everything that we do.
Amen. Thank you so
appreciate
much.
that, Emmanuel.
I appreciate that. And it's sometimes when you respond to me in text, your wording is so much like the things that he would say, and I want to reply back sometime, oh, that's good, son. But I'm like, it's like he probably think this is crazy. Because even the way you word things is the way he would word things. And I'm like, this is nothing but God.
But God, yeah.
Yeah. It's nothing but God.
Appreciate that, man.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you guys so much. Akiva, I'm going to get on your schedule. I promise you. Miss Wanda, I'm going to get on your schedule, but this is bigger than me. This is bigger than God has a plan that he wants to do in the world, and I'm locked and loaded, and I've got my seatbelt on, and I'm ready to go with you guys.
Yeah.
And thank you. I appreciate you.
Yes, man. Thank you guys so much.
Okay.
Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Tell you one thing.
God is so amazing. Because a couple weeks ago, Emmanuel had put up a picture of himself, and he had on glasses. And I said, wait a minute, my son has a picture like that, and he has on glasses. And I put those pictures together, and it just blew my mind. So if you're just joining in, Akiva is writing my play based off my book. Is called The Storm Has a Ministry Too.
Right.
And that was Emmanuel Ware that was just on the phone, and he's going to be playing my son in the play.
You know, Wanda, I had to hold myself. Thank God I'm sweating because the sweat could look like tears because I literally had to hold my tears back.
Me too. I was like, I'm not going to cry.
I'm like, come on, man. Well, I know you're a great talker, but man, you about to make me cry here, man. Because what it is, when I took on the assignment to write your book, I also took on your pain. You know, so when he was talking about Lil D, I don't think I could see his Lil D, his cornrows and his smile. Yeah. And I was like, man.
And it's like they have the same look, everything.
So he was breaking me down over here because I was thinking about Lil D and when I'm reading about your story and stuff like that and what you had to go through. And I was starting to get emotional. So it's a real thing, you know, when you take on somebody else's pain, you know, things like that. So going back to that, you know, your story, this is my first trial at writing somebody else's story. And I thank you for, you know, giving me this opportunity to take on that challenge, and it's been challenging. However, it's been rewarding as well because we're bringing so many people closer together. Yeah.
So then that's when Pastor Warren comes in.
Yes.
So I guess we can officially announce everything.
Yes.
So, Akiva, you want to do the honors of announcing everything?
We get Pastor Warren because she like that connection, So we want to thank you for being a part of this. You go ahead and make the announcement.
So the play will be held, and you give the date.
October the 10th.
October the 10th at Be Glorified Ministries at 2772 Old Washington Road in Waldorf, Maryland.
Yes.
Absolutely. So we're excited.
Yeah.
We're just so excited to be a part of this ministry, and we just can't wait to see what God is going to do. We know it's going to be amazing.
And God is just bringing everything together, even behind the scenes, because there were certain people that I wanted, to open up in song. And then I was like, okay. Then the person became available.
Right.
And then the MC, I sent out different requests for the MC, and none of them were available.
Right.
And the one I really wanted, I was like, Lord, please let her say she's available. And she emailed me last week that she's available. So it's just like God is just doing so many things behind the scenes. And I'm just honored that I would have never thought that any of the books, would be a play.
Yeah.
And just think that this book right here, I didn't want to finish it.
Yeah.
I started it in early 2018, and then when my son got killed, I was like, I'm not writing anymore.
Right.
I didn't want to finish it, and then it came out, became an Amazon bestseller, and then now it's going to be a play.
Wow, it's nothing but God,
Yeah.
But I do want to mention, this is not all about, I can't do this alone.
Yes.
Got Reggie Humphrey, that he's my partner, that the man stand beside me. I pour how I want to feel and talk about things. When you have that time, you just want to just dump things off. I call him, we talk, and he just shake me up. Get over this. No. But no, that's
He's
that's
a nice
my boy.
guy. He's
a great guy, and he's my partner. And we just had a great meeting last night, talking to some other people. While everyone's been social distance, things. We was talking about business on the phone. We had a great meeting last night with a couple of people that want to possibility want to get involved as well. And God is moving, and He's moving in the right direction. Years and years I've been praying for bringing the right people, the right resources, and things. And God is starting to reward that now. But you got to say yes. And like I said at the beginning, you got to be real about it, be yes, and believe and have faith.
Yes.
Yeah, and that yes means everything. There's a chapter in this book, and it's called "Is My Yes Negotiable?"
Yep.
And that was the hardest chapter.
Yeah.
One of the hardest chapters that I had to write, because it was something where I had to do a self-examination.
Yeah.
It's like you give God your yes, but then it's like, I gave God my yes, and things start going every which way, and be like, okay, God, can I take that back?
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Real talk,
Yeah.
But it's your yes is not negotiable.
Right. It's not.
You either all in or you're out. So I'm just thankful to God that when I gave Him my full yes, even though some things went crazy, that He still continues to open doors for me to show people that He is still a living and a miracle working God. So I am thankful for my yes.
Yes. I got a couple nuggets that I wrote down for me to share about the book. Definitely you went through a lot of pain. A lot of pain. I was feeling the pain. Many times just reading the book, I had to drop it down, and I'm like, my goodness. This pain that you're going through, and then you look at you're still smiling, you will never know. And then something, then during that pain, I was writing a place like, in a way you got to go back and remember the good things, so to get you through that pain, you got to go back and remember those good times, and then all of a sudden I noticed you were starting to rebuild, but you got to have the right people around you to rebuild, the friends, the family, because during that rebuilding stage, you was at a vulnerable stage in your life, if you mentioned cancer, a divorce, so stroke, all that, you know what I'm saying? So during that rebuilding stage, you got to have the right people around you because you're vulnerable. So I started to see how you started to rebuild. Then after that, you saying that word yes. Yes to your ministry, and that's how you wrote that book. And you're just like, you know what? And it's been a little bit over a year that little D's passed.
15 months.
And you don't wrote a book. You talk about it, and now that's your yes, because you say your yes, that's your passion now. So even through all that you was going through, now you are still finally to say yes to it.
And my yes is non-negotiable.
It's non-negotiable.
Amen.
Yep, exactly.
Amen.
It is non-negotiable. You know, Pastor Warren, would you like to have anything to say?
Well, I just thank God about how all of this has come together. And one of the things that I always say is that God never desired for us to try to do ministry all by ourselves.
No, we can't.
He's all about connectivity. He's all about family. And so I'm glad to be a part, and I'm glad that we are learning to connect to each
Yes.
other,
Yes,
and that
yes,
it's not
yeah.
about a one-man show or
Right.
one church,
Right.
but that we're all trying to connect together in an effort to share the gospel, in an effort to share hope with people. Because if anything people need now is hope
Exactly.
and love. And so
Yes.
to be able to
Yes.
connect with other people and to be able to share that love and that hope. And
Yes.
I'm just excited about you and honor you that you would share your story.
Amen.
Because you've been through a lot of pain,
Yeah.
but God has been there every step
Yeah.
of the way. And
Yeah.
yes, you're able to smile. And so I just thank God for that.
Thank
Amen.
you.
Amen.
That goes along with my favorite scripture in the Bible is Isaiah 66:9. And it says, I will not cause pain without allowing something new to be born. So everything that I've gone through, every pain, every trial, God has birthed something new.
Yes,
So that's
yes.
how I look at it. I don't ask God why I'm
Right.
going through.
Right.
I ask God, why not me? So what are you trying to birth out of
Right.
me to show your glory to the world? So
Right.
that's the avenue that I'm on now.
Right.
Yeah.
Amen.
Any closing remarks on how
Well-
people can reach you?
Well, the closing remarks, I just want to give a shout out. I'm not going to mention names, 'cause I don't know if they want me to say it, but those closest friends that they know who they are that was in your life during this
Yeah.
time writing this book. I think about you guys as I write it. I think about
You
your
can
parents.
give their names.
Janice Brown.
Janice Payne.
Yeah, Janice, oh, forgive me. It's me being nervous. Janice Payne, Nita Crum, and also your parents. You know,
Yeah,
your
my
parents. You know,
parents, yeah.
I went back and I shouted you. Remember, I came down, I shouted you in your church and things like that. I wanted to watch your parents and how you guys interact. You know, just doing this here, not just reading it, but I also shout everything. Wanda was doing. I wanted to shout at her and make sure I'm getting the right information about, and getting the right characters down. So, Janice, forgive me. You know I love you. So, but you know what? I'm watching them so much. There's so much love they gave
They're
you.
hilarious.
You know, they're hilarious. And also I just want to give a shout out to Kevin Sim. He also going to help me out with the web series as well. He's a faith-based film developer, a writer as well, screenwriter. He wrote a movie called God's Plan. So and also I want to give a shout out to my fraternity brothers. Wearing my fraternity colors today because we just celebrated 13 years in the bond. So
Awesome.
shout out to 8 is Enough. Love you guys. And
Terrell T-Rex. That
And-
song, that
yes.
was the commercial.
yeah, so T-Rex and Shalik.
Is that how you pronounce
Yes.
it?
So Shalik is coming from Atlanta, Georgia, and T-Rex is coming from Harlem. They worked together on that song, but they also is going to appear in our upcoming play too. The Storm Having Ministry as well too. So my thing is they going to be performing in there as well. I wrote them a role into the play, so you got to come out see it
Yeah.
and how they're going to be involved with the play. And one thing also before I'm gonna be quiet, I got to give a shout out to my uncle. Today he's been recognized as getting married. One thing,
Aw.
Tony Clark, love you, uncle. You know he was
Awesome.
also
Well wishes.
yeah, he was a part of my life growing up because I didn't have my father in my life. He was a great part of a beacon in my life that helped me out become the man who I am today. Saw him many times. Had a girlfriend, for a long time, and he lived with her and all that stuff. I ain't gonna put you out there, uncle. But one thing I respect is that now you're stepping up to get married. Because it takes a real man to go ahead and say, I'm going to marry this woman, and make it real. It's not a contract, it's a bond, the covenant between you and God and her. So I wish you well, and thank you on this day. Sorry I can't be there today, but traveling issues and all that stuff, but I love you. And my family, and just want to thank God for this opportunity to be here.
Amen.
Yeah.
Dr. Warren, Pastor Warren, I'm sorry.
I just thank God for all that God is doing. Please continue to, in these unprecedented times, pray, seek God's face, see what God is saying to you in your individual lives, as well as what God is saying to the churches. We have to do things differently now.
Yeah.
This social distancing is teaching us, churches, that we have to do things with
Yes.
technology, online,
yes.
and be creative. And so this is a time for us to pray if we can still be on one accord and not be in the same room.
Yes.
So we want to seek God's face. Love you all. Love Be Glorified Ministries. And the best, I believe, is still yet to come.
Amen.
That's right.
I truly believe that. So before we close, I always end the show with the food for thought. So today's food for thought is give birth to what God put in you. And the scripture is Luke 18:27, and it says, "But he said, the things which are impossible with men are possible with God." Psalm 7 says, "The ungodly are pregnant with trouble and give birth to lies." The good news is that's not you. You are righteous. You're not pregnant with trouble, with bad breaks, sickness, lack, or depression. You are pregnant with favor, with talent, and with victory. All through the day, keep saying, "Lord, I thank you that I'm pregnant with your promises. I believe conception has occurred." Perhaps your dream looks impossible. It's been a long time. You gave it your best effort and it didn't work out. But deep down, you can't help it. Something keeps kicking, telling you that it is still on the way. And God's perfect timing, when everything is ready, you're going to give birth. Quit telling yourself that you can never get ahead, that you don't have enough of this or enough of that. You are pregnant with success, pregnant with ideas, pregnant with your destiny. You're going to give birth to what God has put in you. So that's today's food for thought. And I pray that you let it get into your mind, let it get into your soul. There's things that God has birthed in you. Use this time to either write a book, start a business, do some community work. You know, this is a time that maybe God is trying to get our attention to get back to Him. So I want to see you all next week. And today's the first day of spring. So happy first day of spring. Go out, get some sun, get some vitamin D. And I want you all to have a great weekend. And remember, my motto is to live out loud. Thank you and see you all. God bless. Bye, everyone.